we have introduced the notion of base as well as subbase for a topology. Using bases, one can describe product spaces. Product topology is given in such a fashion that if you are equipped with x1, etc., xn, n topological spaces with respective topologies tau 1, tau 2, etc., tau n, then looking at the product x1 cross xn, this product can be topologized naturally by looking at the topologies tau i's. Idea is simply looking at the open boxes. Those open sets in the respective tau i's you look at, simply cross it. Such kind of open boxes will be a base for some topology on X. That is what is the product topology. If these tau i's are supplied through bases, maybe tau 1 is having a base B1, script B1. Similarly, if you are looking at the ith space xi with the tau I, then the tau I is let the base will be Bi. In such a fashion is supplied the topologies for xi's. Then one can naturally look at the boxes comes naturally from these Bi's, which I mean if I am taking B1 from script B1, B2 from script B2, Bi from script Bi, and if I am crossing it, these are the natural boxes in some sense. So this indeed, if I am taking all collections like this, that itself forms a base for the product space. One can do it as an exercise, which I will state it concretely. So this is a manufacturing technique how to build new spaces out of the old. Once if you are giving it a topological space X, if you are looking for subsets of X, there is also a natural topology comes down to the subset also. Let us discuss about that now, which we will call subspace. What I am keeping in my mind is that X is a topological space given with the topology tau. Y is a subset of X. I want to topologize Y. I have to give a topology on this Y in such a way that it comes naturally from the open sets of X. So what is the natural topology on Y induced from the topology of X? That is what's the natural question. So such a topology, one can just see how the definition should be is as follows. See, X is a topological space. The parent space is X. So if you are looking at any open set here in the large space X, may call it as U. So I have to restrict my U towards Y, and I have to declare they are going to be the open sets. So more formally, I will look at a collection consisting of those, I may call these fellows as V's. So those V subset of Y's, in what form I have to write? That V can be written as some open set U in the larger space with its intersection with Y. So how that U is living inside Y will become out. Such collections, if I am looking at, and if I am ready to work with or manipulate with that, then easily one can see that this collection forms a topology on Y. That I am doing it as an exercise. So let me denote this is the very natural topology coming to from the parent for a subset. So it is called a subspace topology. So subspace topology on a subset is coming from the parent naturally, and relative topology I can call it as. So let me denote it by tau restricted to Y. So tau restricted to Y consisting of those subsets of Y I may call V. That V is simply the intersection of an open set in X with Y. once we are ready to, or we are convincing ourselves that is indeed a topology, one can look for good examples. So the X with us is the parent topology, and Y as a subset, that induced topology is coming out. So it is what is called the relative topology on Y. With that topology, we will call Y as a subspace of X. We can work with very nice examples. See, for example, you look at the plane. Plane means R cross R. Obviously, there is the notion of topology, which is coming from the metric, that is the usual topology. Here, we know as well that open balls are the basis. So all the open sets are coming as box, centering at some points. Now, what I wanted to look at here is the plane I have a topology, which is the usual topology. So I may write. Suppose I am restricting, or I am considering a subset in the plane as the x-axis. That is a subset. For the entire plane, R2, if I am considering, so that is what my x is. Now I may call my y as simply the x-axis. How will you write x-axis? Simply looking at the coordinates x0s, where x is inside R. This collection is what is a subset of R2, and that is exactly the x-axis. Now one can think about as a subset of plane how the relative topology on this x-axis is. Or if you know about the open sets in R2, usual topology, and restrict it or relativize the topology to the x-axis or the real number system or R, then this is the subspace topology going to come. So what is nice about this is with y is exactly a copy of R. So on this, there is a metric topology also, because it is a real numbers system. This is y, the total fellow is, the plane is R2. So naturally on this R, y equals R, metric topology is available. Metric topology on that, the base are obviously the bounded open intervals are going to be a base for its topology. What is funny thing is the the subspace topology is coinciding with the metric topology on R. That is very easy to see. In fact, you look at the plane, and we know that the open sets in the metric topology on R2 are coming from balls, open balls. So take something like this. See, so let me call that R with the subset R. I will say that U, for example, I mean denote script U as the metric topology. Then I have to look at this U coincides with the usual topology restricted to Y, that is relativized to Y. That is what I am keeping in my mind. So there is the usual topology on the plane. So subspace topology is given to R. R as a metric, usual metric is inside R, so it's having the metric topology also on R. So actually U is same as that is what of tau restricted to Y. How will you show that? See, look at what are the members here. See, for example, if you are looking at a base element, the usual topology of R2, that is circular. A circular disk you can see. That circular disk, let me call it as something like D. So that disk is an open set obviously. Open disk I mean. That intersecting with R, that is Y, that itself is open in the subspace topology, right? So this D intersection Y, D is an open circular disk. If I am calling in the plane, what I am going to get is this interval. A non-trivial intersection, if I have, this is what is. I can just mark this fellow as A0. This fellow is something like B0. But what ideally it gives me. See, in the metric topology, U is nothing other than the metric topology on R. Tau related to Y is the subspace topology I want. Now, the metric topology on R is supplied by the open bounded intervals as basis. That is known for us. But such an AB, one can always visualize as a D intersection with this R. With A is given by A0 and B is given by B0 in this new notation. So you'll be getting this interval as the intersection of an open set here, I mean in the open disk in the plane intersection with Y, which is open in this value. So what it says is the basic open sets or the base elements in U is actually sitting inside tau restricted to Y, which means the relative topology on Y. But it's a topology. So obviously the entire U is going to be sitting inside. Reverse side is also similar. One can do that also. So this says that if you restrict the topology on the plane to the real number system, for example, the horizontal axis, the subspace topology coincides with the metric topology on R. See, this openness is always, we'll later call that is relative. Open in where? That is what is the question what you are going to ask. Especially whenever you are looking at a subspace topology, Y is a subset of X, right? So if you are looking at a bigger space, a parent space X, so equipped with a topology 2, and you are looking at a subset and topologizing it from the topology of X, we are calling it as tau restricted to Y. But so open a subset, if you are calling, for example, U is an open set. Where? Is it in Y or is it in X? That is a very crucial question. So openness in where is always has to be explained well. See, for example, if some there may be some subsets in Y which is open in Y may not be open in X. See, for example, in plane what happens is you look at the plane and take the open bounded interval 1 3 here on this part, I mean 1 0 to 3 0, it spans this open bounded interval sitting as a part of this real axis. So the entire R2 is my X, that is my X, my Y is R. Then one can see that this set, that is the segment starting from 1 0 to 3 0, if I am calling it as U, that U is obviously open in Y, that is in R, but it is not going to be open in the full space X, because to take any point, you cannot find a ball containing that and contained in this segment. So openness in where is very, very important. So an openness in the Y may not give you open in X. The other side is true. If you have an open set in X, obviously intersecting with Y will give the subspaces also. So this kind of things we should be aware of always. One can have natural questions or examples. See, R we have the usual topology. So R is having nice subsets, something like natural numbers, rational numbers and all. So I'm leaving it as an exercise to look at this. R, you consider R with usual topology too. This is usual. Now one can see n natural numbers are sitting inside R. So what should be the topology just if you are restricted towards n? This is a question. And of course, Q also one can ask. Q stands for rational numbers. So rational numbers is a subset of R. So what is the subspace topology again if I am restricting the usual topology to Q? So these questions try to answer and try to understand what exactly is the natural topology is coming from these familiar subsets. Now, while considering about subspace topology, the next question is also important. The idea is something like this. See, X is a topological space. if y is a subset of x and z is a subset of y, z is sitting inside y, that y is sitting inside x is equipped with the topology tau, then this set part I can just see it as a subset of x as well as y also. So there are naturally the notions of two topologies on that. You have to verify how they relate, which I mean, see, Z is subset of X. So one can just see X is equipped with the topology 2. So relative topology to Z I can talk about, which means tau relativized to Z. Tau as a part of, sorry, X, Z as a part of X, and I can look at that. Another way is already y is a subset of x, so y has natural topology tau restricted to y. So that tau restricted to y, since z is subset of y, again restrict towards z. How these topologies are related? Once a parent is there, daughter and grandchildren are coming, but these topologies, you have to get the connection. They are going to be same. So if you are having a topology on the parent space, go for y as a subspace and again go for z as a subspace of y. Either you can call the tau restricted to y restricted to z, that is exactly same as tau restricted to z. How the proof goes? Proof is not very much difficult. What you have to look at is just rewrite. That's all you will get. So let us look at one side at least. Suppose I am looking at tau restricted to z. Take an open set here. So let U be an open set in tau restricted to z. It means x is there, y is sitting inside, again inside z is there. So here I have topology. Tau restricted to z I am calling to call. So U is like an open set. It just means that I can write U as some V intersection set. My V is from where? It is from tau. Tau is the open sets of X. Now see, this set is actually sitting inside Y. So I can simply write down this set as V intersection Y intersection Z also. Because Z is a subset of Y. You are not going to get anything new. Which I can rewrite as V intersection Y intersecting with Z. Now just look at V intersection Y. V is open in X, its intersection with Y. This is a member in tau restricted to Y. That member I am intersecting it with Z. So obviously this fellow will belonging to tau restricted to Y members restricted towards Z. Which says if you take any open set tau restricted to Z, that will be a member in tau restricted to Y restricted to Z. Other side, once again, I am leaving it as an exercise. Before further discussions, note that certain properties of topological spaces transist through its subspaces. Such properties are defined as hereditary properties. So it is nice to look at some hereditary properties of topological spaces. Through it as hereditary properties, I mean once you have the parent space X is having that property, any subspace with a subspace topology also possesses that. That is what is the meaning of hereditary. Parent is having, children are also having the same property. So some of the easiest ones are discreteness as well as indiscreteness, because discrete topology, the X is a discrete topological space, every subset is open. So any subset of Y, if you are looking at, that also itself is open in X, it is clear. So immediately it follows that Y with subspace topology is also discrete. Indiscreteness also follows in a very similar fashion. But a little bit non-trivial things are coming from second countability as well as metrizability. Just before looking at second countability and metrizability, let us just make a characterization of subspaces in terms of bases. See, it's also very natural to look at if you have a space X with the topology tau, and that tau is supplied through a base B. So any open set you can have, it can be manufactured from the base elements. Then just restrict your B towards Y, which I mean all the B's from the script B intersection with Y will actually give this is a subset of this is a collection of subsets of Y's. That B restricted to Y is indeed going to be a base for the subspace topology. It's easy to look at because this collection, to see that this is a base, you just take any open set U in tau intersection. Your Y is subspace, so Y tau restricted to Y is inside. So from here you take any open set U. So let U be any open set in tau restricted to Y. Then such a U will look like V intersection Y, where V is available in tau, but V is open in X. So if you are just starting any element Y in this U, that is Y is in V also, which in turn gives you a base element B from script B is available for U, which is sitting inside V. But this immediately gives you that Y belongs to B intersection Y, which is sitting inside V intersection Y, which is U. So for any open set and an element contained in that, you have the presence of B intersection Y type of fellows inside U, which ensures that this collection is indeed a base for the topology tau restricted to Y. So it's very easy to find out base for a type subspace topology once the base is supplied with the parent space. That immediately gives you the following result. Second countability is going to be a hereditary one, which means that see, your given X with tau is a second countable space, which means there is a countable base for its topology. B is giving to rise to tau, B is countable also. So you can list them like that. Now what's going to happen is you take any subspace that also is going to be having a base which is countable. Very easy. The previous lemma result says that you just consider all the B intersection Y's. This collection, my B's are from here. Then this collection is going to be a base for the subspace topology. Indeed, they are going to be countable. That is all. So you'll get a countable base for subspace topology. So second countability transits to the subspaces. That is what it says. Another important property is metrizability. See, metrizability means, see, once you are having a topological space X, if this tau is metrizable, it means that there exists a metric D on X which actually induces tau. So from the balls of radius radii, we generate our tau, open sets in X. So D is a metric means D is a function ideally from X cross X to the non-negative real numbers which possess the determining properties of metric. Now balls are indeed the base for the metric topology or the all tau you are going to get here. So whenever you are considering a subspace, that is, take a Y and equip with subspace topology tau Y, what is really going to happen is tau restricted to Y, that topology is also going to be metrizable. It means that in Y there exists a metric, let us call E, that E induces tau restricted to Y, the open sets in Y. So obvious candidate is there because D is already in X. So just restrict the whole scenery to Y. How will you do that? That is, D you restrict to Y. It works from Y to Y. Whenever you are inside Y, you just define it as the D action. That is what D restricted to Y. In fact, d restricted to y cross y, I have to write. So d is restricted to y, I can say. So once you are restricting like that, you just call that function as e. So e is a function from y cross y to 0 infinity, which possesses all the necessities for of being a metric. Now, with respect to that metric, that this metric is going to be the natural metric, which actually gives you the subspace topology. So a ball in this nu e means the restricted d actually. How it will look like? A ball of radius x, center x with some radius r. To distinguish between the metrics, whether you are in e or whether you are in y or x, let me write here be. The ball of centered at x with radius r with respect to e. I mean, I am marking inside y. That is basically same as a ball in x or in capital X, but you have to restrict towards y. You are not going to look at the full thing. So the entire ball you can look at in x. You just restrict, I mean, you just intersect with y. What are the y elements to be accommodated? This is basically the new ball. B, the ball centered at x with radius r with respect to e in y is same as this prescription. Now look at BDXR intersection y. They are obviously going to be, this is an open set in tau, intersecting it with y obviously gives you an element in tau restricted to y. So this idea can be easily proved well. So both sides it will come out. So how the proof goes, let me write it very formally as a theorem. Factorizability is a hereditary property. What you have observed through these lines was the balls in y can be rewritten as a ball in x intersection with y. That's what you have written. So which says that tau restricted to y is available with us, the subspace topology. So the balls in the natural balls with respect to e inside this y, it is xr. This fellow is going to be sitting inside tau restricted to y because the style of this fellow is BDXR intersection with y. This is in tau intersecting with y, so this is open in tau restricted to y. So all the balls in y in this fashion are inside here. So if I am writing u, which is going to be the, my notation is, this is the topology on y induced by the metric E. All the base elements, I mean the balls inside them containing various x's and r, they are going to be inside subspace topology, which says that u is sitting inside tau restricted to y. That is what it guarantees. So one side is clear. If I am denoting u as the topology on y induced by the metric E, that is fully sitting inside tau restricted to y. It's a space topology because the balls are there. It's a topology on the right hand side. You will be getting all the things like that. One more side we have to look at, that is remaining one is tau restricted to y. That is a subspace topology on y is sitting inside u also. For that side, how will you attack? So start with any open set with respect to the subspace topology. Then our V will look like u intersection y. Obviously my u in that case it's inside tau. Tau is the original topology on x. Now start with any y in V. V means u intersection y, which implies y belongs to, see this is in u also, my y is in u also. U is open in tau. So certainly I have a ball of radius, not xr, ball centered at y and some radius depending on y is available. Y or y is available, which is sitting inside u. I'm working inside Y. So this immediately gives me Y belongs to B D Y R Y, which is intersected with Y, is sitting inside U intersection Y. This part is exactly my V, which says what? Take any open subset of subspace topology. In subspace topology, take an element inside there. You have an entity BDYRY intersection Y sitting inside there. But this is nothing other than that BEYRY. So what is the speciality of this fellow? This fellow is a ball for the metric of E with respect to the metric E in Y. So which says what? This argument says that your V, that is U intersection V, is going to be inside U. So once V is in tau restricted to Y, such a V is also available in U because my U is the topology coming or induced from the metric E. So we have proved tau restricted to Y is sitting inside U. Both sides are over. So it coincides. The topology on Y induced by the metric E is same as the space topology. So metrizability transits very easily to the subspaces. It's one of the best results we can use it. Now, once you are having a second countable space, the Lindelof kind of conditions that you have already observed can be given as a theorem, which I can rewrite. X2 is a second countable space, Y is a part of it, Y is a subset of it. Then you just cover Y with the members from tau. It's always as a countable cover. So what you have to do here is a cover means the union will be taking care of that. So it's also very natural because of we have already proved something on the second countable space is how a covering is going to have a countable subcover. Simply apply that, you will get it. So I may take it some cover of Y. I may write it as U. U stands for U alphas for some alpha indexing, which covers my Y. So all these U's are open sets in X that I am using, that I am covering this thing. So what the theorem says that it has a countable subcovering. Whatever be the covering, it has a countable subcovering. That's what I am trying to prove. So once U is like this, just to form the appropriate V, a subcollection of Y's, which subsets of Y's, U intersection Y's, where my U's are running over this U's. So what I am going to get here now, U's are from U. They are all in tau. So open sets are in X intersected with Y. They are all open in subspace topology. So this indeed will, the previous one is covering A. So this is going to be this collection is going to be an open cover in tau Y, tau restricted to Y. But once you are having this, you have a very well known, we have proved it, every open covering in the second countable space, because tau restricted to Y is also going to be second countable, the previous hereditary property. So Y with respect to tau Y is second countable. So this covering by the previous proved theorem has a countable subcovering. Just a selection needs other than that. So if C, if I am writing it as C1, C2, etc., is going to be a countable covering for this thing from this tau restricted to Y. What I have to look at, see any C from here that is of the form here like this. So I can choose a U correspondingly. So I can any C, I can just mark some UC from tau. So simply collect all the UCs, C working inside C, right? This is a collection of U. So this subcollection, what is this? It's actually covers that. That also will cover that, because this each C I can just look at UC in the style that UC intersection Y style is the C. These fellows are like that. So immediately I will get the cover like that. So the result also follows easily.